Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Tea and Chat. I'm Sharis Aldridge, and this is my sister wife, Vanessa.
Hi.
What are we drinking?
Well, today we are drinking a lovely tea. It was gifted to me by a friend.
Mm-hmm.
She came to a tea party that we hosted, and she just gave me a little thank you gift with this tea. It's called Tower of London. It's by Harney and Sons. It is so good. I will read to you because I will lose the words and lack the eloquence. But it has hints of bergamot, vanilla, black tea, black currant, caramel, honey. Anyway, it's all the good things. And it is so delicious.
It's so tasty.
Yes.
And it kind of matches your jacket tonight, so.
Incidentally, it matches my jacket. It's this cute little tin. Just
That's like
open, close. It's so cool.
I like that. Like that lid
I
popping.
know, it's really neat.
Stocking stuffer. All right.
Okay, this week we want to talk about, it's kind of a simple concept, but it's this idea that it's what's wrong with people, not what's wrong with polygamy.
Yeah.
So many things get attributed to polygamy as a negative attribute, but almost everything that is not the fault of polygamy.
Yeah.
So let's get our definition straight here. Polygyny specifically, is a condition or practice of having more than one wife at a time. That has nothing in the definition of a moral code. There is no morality to that. What people live, they bring their morality, they bring their codes with them.
Yeah.
So whether they live in a monogamous family, whether they live as a polygamous family, all the different things. What dictates how people behave is their own moral code and their ability to stick to it or not.
Yeah.
And I just want to make that distinction because there is nothing about polygamy that is inherently bad or wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that polygyny specifically, has gotten a really bad rap over the years.
It has.
And we hear and we read things like polygyny is inherently abusive. Mm-hmm. And like that's wrong.
Yeah,
that's
it is wrong. It is wrong.
I was born and raised in a polygyny family, and I married into one. And if polygyny was inherently abusive, I should have suffered some of that by now, and I haven't.
Right.
And does abuse happen in polygyny relationships? Yes, just like it happens in monogamous relationships. Yeah. It's a people issue. Yeah. It's a person issue. It's a personality issue.
It is.
Not a lifestyle issue.
Yeah, consider anybody that goes into a marriage of any kind. They're going to decide how they live it. Do they have an open relationship? Do they have a closed relationship? That comes with its own consequences. What religion do they believe? How do they practice their religion?
Yeah.
What does that entail? Or what are the acceptable behaviors? For example, I know a woman who has been in an abusive relationship, and there's a certain level of mistreatment that she receives from her husband that is acceptable to her. Mm. And I've always been just floored by that. I thought, how do you allow that?
Yeah.
I would never, but I'm somebody different. Now, once again, so these issues, I can list a few that I have heard attributed to polygamy. Mm-hmm. Child abuse, spousal abuse, welfare abuse, underage marriages, coercion. All of those things are pretty much bad. And I don't think that they should be, I don't think anybody should live with those things.
No.
But that's not because of the structure of their family. I can think of examples of all of those things happening in monogamous families too. And so we need to have honest conversations about this. You know, if you want to pick apart polygamy, then pick it apart on the things that are actually related to polygamy and not just things that are related to bad people. A bad person, a bad man, for example, who wants to prey upon women will do that, whether he becomes a polygamist, whether he becomes a monogamist, whether he becomes none of those things. That's in his nature, and he will do those things no matter what he chooses to live, what lifestyle he chooses to live.
Yeah.
And women too, you know. It's not just men who do bad things. Women can do bad things as well.
Yeah.
And so those you're going to see that. And just because there have been legitimately bad examples of men who live polygynously, it does not mean that polygyny is bad. It means that the man is bad. The individual is bad.
Yeah. In trying to get ready for this little conversation tonight, I did some research, and I asked Google, I typed in, what kind of marital relationship has the highest probability of spousal abuse? And this was the answer, like the little AI pop-up answer I got.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yes. It said spousal abuse is a complex issue with no single predictor or type of relationship guaranteed to experience it. It can happen in any type of relationship. And I was like, okay, that I agree. I don't think that's wrong. So I was like, okay, I'll ask a more specific question, because I want to know, why does it say that polygyny is inherently abusive? I want to know. So I typed in, is polygyny more abusive than monogamy? And this is what the answer came up with. It says, it is not accurate to say that polygyny is inherently more abusive than monogamy. Abuse can occur in any relationship structure, and the risk of abuse is not determined by whether the relationship is monogamous or polygynous. Mm-hmm. So I actually was like, thank you, right, AI computer, for scanning the web and coming back with this. That gave me a little bit of, finally.
Yeah. We did look for specific stats, and we were having a really hard time finding specific stats.
Yeah.
Like I said, take it with a grain of salt. That's what the AI came up with.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. And that's kind of the consensus with everything we have been reading, is that abuse happens in every relationship structure.
Yeah.
And there are higher prevalence in certain relationships. Like, I think same-sex marriages experience more domestic abuse than monogamous marriages.
Yeah, we read that.
Than heterosexual relationships.
Mm.
Anyway, so that is interesting. But
yeah,
it exists. I was actually speaking with a coworker a while ago, and we were talking about relationships with men, and I was just saying how I've always had a really good relationship with the men in my life. My dad was always just very supportive, loving father. I was like, I never was mistreated. Mm-hmm. And all the extended male relations in my family, my uncles, cousins, etc., they were always so protective of me and so kind. I always felt valued and cared for. So when she went on to tell me about her experiences with her father, who was physically and emotionally abusive, and then she went on to have a physically and emotionally abusive first marriage, and I was just like, I've taken it for granted.
Yeah.
That the men around me have always been so good. I have not seen through the lens of somebody who's really struggled with that, and I count it as a blessing. And I grew up with many family and relations. I don't want to say that.
Relatives?
Yeah. I grew up with many relatives in polygynous cultures. And so, my experience has been very good. Yeah. And then that's caused me to pick a husband who values me, who treats me well. And it's interesting because, as I talk to people who have been mistreated in their relationships, I'm just kind of wonder how that is even the case. Because for me, I didn't grow up with it. That was never acceptable.
Yeah.
And so I just don't think I would ever
put up with it
because I've never had to. Yeah. So anyway, it's just very interesting. And I know that these issues are complex, and I'm not trying to slam anybody who's in a difficult situation trying to figure out how to navigate it. But yeah, my experiences have been very good with so many good people around me.
Yeah. No, I would say I experienced the same thing. I have never been afraid of my dad or any of the men in my life, any of my uncles or cousins, extended family. Never, ever experienced any harm or abuse at their hands, and always felt protected. Mm-hmm. And, now I'm a mom. I'm raising my own kids, and talking to people like your friend, I realized the same thing, how much I've taken advantage of good men in my life.
Taking advantage of them?
Okay,
that's awful.
That's terrible. Taken advantage for
granted.
Granted. That's
You're
the
welcome.
word. This happens all the time. Yes.
It's true.
I'm going to start using wrong words on purpose just to see if you catch it.
I will.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I've taken it for granted. There we go. These wonderful protective men in my life. And so I've got kids now. I've got boys and girls. And I've had to, or I've sat down with my sons and I've let them know that the way you treat your sisters is going to set a standard for them, how they're going to expect to be treated by men in their lives. And if you set that bar high, then they will never accept anything less. And kind of along those same lines, I think it's so important. We've tried to teach all of our children the importance of the words no and stop. Those are not games. Those words are not toys. You don't use them for fun. It's like the word help. It's like you only use this word when you mean it. Yes.
Right. So when they're like running around and roughhousing,
roughhousing,
as children do,
Yeah.
they need to understand that when somebody says, "I'm done, stop," it's like, you need to stop.
Yeah, they
the
should
older
stop, but
children
they
need to
didn't-
stop. But no, they were just playing. They didn't mean it.
They were
It's like-
laughing when they said no, stop.
well,
It's like-
and then we tried to teach the little kids, if you say stop, that means they have to stop. And if
Yeah.
you want them to keep playing, you have to use different words. You
Yeah.
need to communicate what you're meaning.
Yeah.
You can't tell them to stop and then want them to keep going, because that's confusing.
Yeah, that's very confusing. And and then to the older kids, it's like, look, picture your younger sibling in a situation down the road where they say stop. They need to know, they need to expect that person to stop. And if we've trained them that no, stop is a fun word, they're going to have a difficult time recognizing, telling, what am I trying to say again?
You are trying to say, I don't know. Well, our words have power and
Yeah.
meaning, and they need to speak the truth, and they need to have an expectation that comes with their words.
Yeah. And I want my girls and my boys to know that when they use the words no and stop, that's what they should expect from other people. And that on the flip side means you only use words like no and stop and help when you really need it and you mean it. It's not a toy. And so the training goes both ways. You have to respect it and you have to expect it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's a really ugly topic, abuse.
It is. And yeah, there's so much about it. But once again, there's a distinction between the wrongs that happen to people that are legitimate and then attributing it to something else. We have to have the honest conversations about what's actually happening. If we say, oh, well, polygamy is bad, well, that's not accurate.
Yeah.
And that actually can become a problem, because if people don't feel like maybe somebody who is experiencing abuse in a polygamous family, maybe they don't feel like they can come forward because there's they're not getting treated fairly,
Yeah.
or there's a fear of coming forward. And so it tends to hide actual abuses
Yeah.
when we're not treating polygamous families as actual families, as people with rights, the same. And that's part of the reason why we even talk about it. A lot of people ask us, why are you doing this? It's like, well, there's a lot of reasons. And part of it is so that people can speak about who they are, who their family is. They can show the good side. And if they're in somewhere that's bad, that they can get the help that they need too, and not be afraid to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think having these conversations is very important. And if you're going to get to the bottom of issues, if you have a prayer of fixing them, you have to understand what the real issue is.
Yeah.
And so to approach this, well, let's solve abuse. Polygyny is abusive. It's like, no, it's not. And now you're not going to be able to solve it because you're not looking at the actual problem.
So ultimately, I think we all should strive to hold ourselves to a high standard of treating people kindly, with love and grace. And if we have personal failings, to overcome them. And, we should not have to accept terrible treatment from other people who are inclined to give it. And those are my thoughts on the issue. But let's talk about what's really there.
Yeah.
And not lump them all together.
Do
you have any other thoughts?
I don't think so. I don't
Yeah.
think so. I think this topic could go on and on and on. There's so many tiny little points that could be made. But I think this is a good start.
Yeah. It's about people, not about the structure itself.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you for joining us. I hope you found it insightful. Please leave comments or likes, and
Feel free to ask any questions you have.
yep. And then join us next week. Thanks.
Thank you.